What we're going to do today is demonstrate the ability of the Vutek system to analyze a spinal column. We're going to start with his body and then go inside and analyze the spinal column. What we'll do first is to change the tissue types. By doing that, it ignores skin and looks only at bones and muscles. So we'll do that first. So here's the inside of the body without the skin, and we're going to want to look at only the spinal column. We can do that by windowing it. Down here we will select clipping. In this mode we will clip out what we don't want to see. So we'll start from the left, or the right I should say. Okay, we're zooming in now on the spinal column on the right side. We'll clip out the ribs and a few things and look at only the spinal column. So we've zoomed it on the right side. Now we'll go to the bottom and clip out some unwanted body parts. We'll go from the top and clip out some of the things we don't need. Now from the back side we'll bring it in. Now this is the front side, and we'll clip out some of the extraneous items as well. Now we'll go over to the left side and clip out some things. So we've isolated it to the spinal column. Now what it's best is to go to the examiner mode to look around on the back side, and it'll show more of the backbone. So we'll go to what's called the examiner mode, where we can manipulate the image. So now we're going to look at just the backbone. And in fact, I think we're better off looking at it at an angle, like that. Okay, I'm going to go back to the clipping mode again to get out some stuff we don't need. So I'm zooming in again to get rid of some body parts we don't need.